the March hero, Hero 30, it's gonna be Echo. She's gonna be Hero 30, and on top of that, because the Archives event happens right after March, it happens in April, she's going to be, I guarantee you, she is going to be in the event as a playable character.
Now, to set people's expectations, because I know immediately what they're thinking is like, well, Hero 30 is going to be Echo. We have big plans for. Echo is not Hero 30. Not Hero 30. Not Hero 30.
Well, there goes that theory. Honestly, though, I'm not mad. This means that Hero 30 gets to be a mystery. In the post-Doomfist world of hero releases, there's a substantial laundry list of the usual suspects. Junker Queen, Sanjay, Maximilian, Link 17, the Mecha Pilots, Liao, Emre Sarayoglu, Hamid Faisal, Sven, Mohawk Guy, Mama Hong, Jetpack Cat. If you've been around the hero speculation scene for a hot minute, these characters are nothing new to you, and you're probably not interested in hearing about them and their chances all over again. Therefore, in the interest of shaking things up, I'd like to put forth a more unique opinion. There are two named characters in the lore that many seasoned speculators have ignored, Kimiko and Mirembe. They both appear in the same two pieces of media, the Recall cinematic and Anna's Legacy comic. I've brought them up on threads in the Overwatch forums before, and the response to them has been, well, lukewarm at best. People are either of the opinion that they're too generic, or that their two appearances and sliver of lore each are not enough to make them valid candidates. I'll address these points now rather than later, just in case you, the viewer, hold one or maybe both of these opinions already and are glancing down at your keyboard right now with the urge to leave a comment. First of all, too generic? I beg to differ. When you compare Mirembe and Kimiko to the other soldiers in the comic, the two of them are clearly meant to stand out. I mean, look at those hairstyles. Kimiko's rocking that black to red ombre, and Mirembe's got locks the color of sweet, sweet loot box credits. If they wanted these two to be generic foot soldiers, they could have just slapped brunette bob cuts on them and been done with it. As for the argument that their presence in the lore is too subtle, I find that equal parts hilarious and frustrating because, hello, have you been paying attention? A nameless, shadowy figure with a single comic appearance became the BlizzCon 2017 hero, a name on the Horizon map, and a shabby poster on the Junkertown map that no one paid any mind because we were all too busy looking at a certain other poster, not only became a hero, but were the same hero all along. You can't sit there and tell me that only the characters that have been shoved in our faces have any chance at being a hero, because that's simply not true. Fun fact, someone on Ye Olde forums correctly speculated that Moira's Masquerade cameo was a hero tease. The responses were less than enthusiastic. So yeah, if you typed out some variant of, not every background character is gonna be a hero, god, in the comment box, then how about you do yourself a favor and just erase it, okay? Now back to these ladies. There can only be one Hero 30, of course, so between these two, who is more likely? Or if neither of them are Hero 30 in particular, who's more likely to come first? In my opinion, it'll be Mirembe. If you look closely at their appearances in the Recall cinematic, you'll notice that Kimiko is donned in the standard issue Overwatch armor, while Mirembe is wearing something else. A hero's garb is largely dictated by the function they serve in the game, along with the faction they serve in the lore. We can only see Mirembe's collar and shoulders in this picture, but it's definitely not a generic Overwatch uniform like she wore in the comic. What this indicates to me is that, at the time they drew up all of this concept art, they had more of an idea of what Mirembe would be as a hero. Meanwhile, they slapped some blue armor on Kimiko until they could think of something better. It's been over 2 years since the cinematic, and Kimiko as a concept could be farther along by now, but I figure Mirembe would still be more developed if they continued to work on her past the ideation phase. Okay, now that I've thoroughly defended Mirembe as a possibility, let's get to the fun part, speculating her class and kit. There's not a whole lot to work with for a rock-solid theory, but my current hypothesis is that she'll be a support DPS hybrid. 3 reasons. 1, she was a soldier. 2, her outfit has yellow, and that's the healing color. 3, such a character would be potentially useful for the next Archives event. I talked about this a little bit in my Hero 29 video, back when I incorrectly assumed that Echo would be Hero 30. Basically, if they want to do a mission from before Mercy became Overwatch's CMO, or if they just want to avoid using Mercy again in general, they'll need another former Overwatch member in the support category. I'm nowhere near as talented as Arnold Sang when it comes to illustrating, but my hypothetical ideation requires some equally hypothetical concept art, so... Here you go. Now I bet I know what you're thinking. A bag? A tool? Is she... a builder? Well... yeah. Both of Overwatch's existing builders take inspiration from TF2's engineer. Torbjorn has the turret and Symmetra has the teleporter. NG also has a third build that isn't currently replicated in the Overwatch universe, the dispenser. The dispenser has more than one function in TF2, but the hypothetical Overwatch counterpart will have only one purpose: healing. It could either be an AoE healing machine or physically dispense mega health packs. Either way, the healing output would have to be greater than Lucio or Brigitte's for Morambe to be a viable pick, due to the dispenser being stationary and destructible. Yep, it's destructible. That's the counterplay. Much like Torbjorn, though, Morambe can slap her dispenser with her tool to repair it before it's destroyed. Unlike Torbjorn, however, Morambe does not need to swap weapons, because that tool is also her primary weapon. It's not a melee weapon either. It's a projectile.
Hey!
It's a 2-in-1 socket wrench and screwdriver. A socket driver, because screw wrench just doesn't sound right. Also, I couldn't decide on a default colorway for it, so I just gave her the gold gun version. But Jagu, how could this possibly be a projectile? Here's how it works. The glove has a powerful magnet in it. Normally it's there to help a worker not drop their tools, but she's tweaked it a bit. When she throws her socket driver, she reverses the magnetism, propelling it even faster than a normal throw would. Then she switches the magnetism again and pulls the socket driver back to her hand. The bracers are there to lessen the stress of the impact on her arm. Since she's throwing the same tool over and over, she doesn't have a reload in the traditional sense, just the brief time that it takes for the socket driver to return to her hand. The travel speed and damage of her projectile is somewhere in the ballpark of Zenyatta's, for the sake of her being just as viable in the DPS role as he is. Whether it's more damage but less speed, or vice versa, her damage per second potential should balance well with the passive nature of her healing. Just to be completely crystal clear, the dispenser is Morambe's only form of healing. Even if the dispenser has a healing output on par of a main healer like Moira or Ana, Morambe will still technically be an off-healer due to the inevitable healing downtime. Aside from her primary fire and her healing, she's got two utility tricks up her sleeve. Or rather, in her collar and on her belt. Her first ability, Hard Hat, is a small shield bubble generated around just her head for X number of seconds. Maybe 5? For those few seconds, she is immune to critical hits, much like Hammond in ball form. When timed right, it allows Morambe to reposition herself without being easily picked off by a sniper. The cooldown would probably be somewhere around the 10 seconds to encourage strategic usage. With the heavy presence of Hanzo and Widowmaker in the game, it's not unreasonable to introduce a new defense against them. You know what else isn't unreasonable? Having more than one anti-healing ability in the game. To that end, I give you the Putty Pod. Putty Pod is a sphere of nasty biohazard goo that can be thrown onto one enemy, blocking all healing for X number of seconds. In the anti-healing department, it doesn't outshine Bionade, which can hit multiple enemies. What makes Putty Pod special then? That would be the secondary effect. Blindness. You know that one power-up in Mario Kart where you splatter ink onto the windshield of your opponents? As the blinded hero, your screen would look something like that. A blind hero can still move and try to get behind cover, but their vision is almost entirely obscured for X number of seconds. I can't decide on any hard numbers for her abilities, or even if she'd be a standard 200 health hero or not, because I can't program and play test this myself to know for sure if those numbers are balanced. Should she be a mobile hero too? Maybe have something like Soldier 76's sprint, but with a cooldown or resource meter? I'm not sure. What I am sure about is that Morambe has the potential to make some niche comps stronger, like Bunker or Pirate Ship. I gotta tell ya, as somebody who plays a lot of Orisa, I'd be thrilled to have that dispenser near me, and I'd protect it with all the strength of my massive horsey body. Oh, and yes, Genji mains, you can deflect both of her projectiles. But I think it would be funny to have the socket driver just harmlessly return to Morambe's glove when deflected. Makes sense to me. What about Diva's defense matrix? Wouldn't it dissolve the socket driver? How would Morambe get it back? I'm so glad you asked. Socket driver is the only projectile that can penetrate defense matrix. Listen, Diva's so strong and people crave more Diva counterplay. I'm just giving the people what they want. Okay, let's get to the ultimate. Truth be told, this was the toughest part of her kit for me, but after sweating profusely over many magnet-themed moves, I think I might have a sane, reasonable ultimate idea. This, like her healing method, is inspired by another game.
Please don't shoot me! Quit it!
In Halo Wars 2, Yap Yap the Destroyer has a leader power called Please Don't Shoot Me. For the short duration, friendly and enemy players alike can't attack each other. I thought to myself, what if Mirembe threw down a big magnet that drew all local weapons fire to it? This would allow your team to safely maneuver to a better position, correct bad positioning, or contest an objective in overtime while waiting for the rest of your team to get there. I call it Ceasefire. Unlike Please Don't Shoot Me, Ceasefire is a local effect rather than global. If two Genjis are 1v1ing on the other side of the map, this ultimate won't impact their pissing contest. Also, if it wasn't obvious, any kind of melee attack would still work. That's right, Doomfist mains, it's your time to shine. You might be wondering why I went for this instead of an anti-CC ultimate. It was either Jeff or Jeff who stated that they weren't keen on adding more anti-CC to the game. Knowing that, why would I bother speculating about one? That's about it for Mirembe in terms of gameplay. I could talk about my ideas for her lore and her skins, but that should be its own video. If you want to leave questions or constructive criticism about Mirembe's abilities, I could directly respond to them in that very same hypothetical video. Heck, let me know down below if you're interested in a Mirembe follow-up video at all. I'm also planning ability concept videos for Echo, Junker Queen, and Maximilian. Of course, if either the Queen or Maximilian end up being Hero 30, then I won't bother. Otherwise, I plan on releasing all of those videos between now and Hero 31's reveal this summer. Regardless of who we get for Hero 30 and what role they play, you can catch me streaming their live console release in March. Hopefully I'll see you there. Okay, bye.